It was a chilly Saturday morning in the quiet suburbs of Ohio. John had just stepped out for his usual morning jog, the crisp air filling his lungs and the golden sunrise painting the streets in soft shades of orange and pink. As he rounded the corner near Maple Street, a faint whimper caught his attention. At first, he thought it was just a stray sound, maybe a neighborhood cat stuck somewhere. But then he saw it, a tiny, shivering puppy sitting alone under a parked car, its big brown eyes staring up at him with a mix of fear and hope. John's heart clenched. He had never been a dog owner, but something about that small, trembling creature reached deep into him. He crouched down, speaking softly, "Hey there, little guy, it's okay, I'm not going to hurt you." The puppy hesitated at first, but after a few moments, it cautiously inched closer, seeking warmth and safety. It was clear to John that this little pup needed him, maybe more than anyone else at that moment. Before we dive deeper into the story, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment if you've ever had a moment when kindness changed someone's day, or even your own. Here at Kindness Story Hub, we love sharing stories that remind us all how small acts of compassion can ripple into something extraordinary. John gently scooped the puppy into his arms and looked around, hoping to find some clue about its owner. There was a collar, but no tag. No name, no phone number, nothing. He decided the first thing he needed to do was take the pup home, keep it warm, and post a few messages online to see if anyone had reported a missing dog. He had no idea that this small act of kindness would lead him into one of the most unexpected and heartwarming experiences of his life. When John got home, he laid a soft blanket on the living room couch and placed the puppy carefully on it. He brought a small bowl of water and a few dog biscuits he had in the pantry, which the pup eagerly gobbled down. Watching the little creature finally relax, John felt a warmth in his chest that he hadn't experienced in a long time. It wasn't just about rescuing a puppy, it was about making a connection, a bond that didn't need words. After settling the puppy, John pulled out his phone and started posting on neighborhood apps, Facebook groups, and lost and found pet forums. He wrote a simple message: "Found this little guy on Maple Street this morning. No collar tag. Please help me find his owner." Within minutes, his post was shared by dozens of neighbors. Comments started flooding in, with people asking questions, offering advice, and hoping to reunite the puppy with its family. The next day, John received a message from a woman named Mrs. Thompson. She explained that her family had recently adopted a puppy from a local shelter, and they had been frantically searching for him after he slipped out of their yard. She described him perfectly: small, brown-eyed, and with a little white patch on his chest. John's heart lifted. He knew this was the puppy's family, but something in her message made him pause. Mrs. Thompson explained that her grandson, Danny, had been heartbroken since the puppy ran away. Danny had recently been going through a tough time. His father had passed away a year ago, and his mother had been working extra hours just to make ends meet. The little puppy had been Danny's first gift after his father's death, a source of comfort and joy in a life that had suddenly become very heavy. Suddenly, John realized that this puppy wasn't just a pet, it was a lifeline for a little boy struggling with grief. When John agreed to meet Mrs. Thompson and return the puppy, he felt a strange mix of anticipation and nervousness. He wanted to make sure the handoff went smoothly, but he also couldn't shake the bittersweet feeling of saying goodbye. As he drove to her house, he imagined Danny's face when he saw his lost friend again, hoping it would bring the kind of pure happiness that only a child can feel. When John arrived, Mrs. Thompson greeted him warmly and led him to a small backyard where Danny was waiting. The boy froze when he saw the puppy in John's arms. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Then, with a mix of disbelief and joy, Danny ran forward, threw his arms around the puppy, and held on as if he would never let go. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "I thought I lost you forever." The puppy wagged its tiny tail furiously, licking Danny's cheeks, sensing the reunion as if it had been waiting for this exact moment all along. John felt a lump in his throat. He hadn't realized how deeply this small act of kindness would touch someone's life, not just the puppy's, but Danny's. He watched as Danny hugged his furry friend, the boy's sadness and worry melting away into pure, uncontainable happiness. Mrs. Thompson smiled at John and said, "You have no idea what this means to us. Danny hasn't smiled like this in weeks. Thank you for bringing him back to us." But the story didn't end there. Over the next few weeks, John stayed in touch with the family. He learned more about Danny's struggles, his love for animals, and the way he had been slowly rebuilding his life after loss. John visited often, playing with the puppy and helping Danny with small projects in the yard or reading together in the evenings. What started as a single act of kindness had blossomed into a friendship, a support system, and a community of love surrounding a little boy and his loyal puppy. One day, Danny's mother invited John over for dinner. As they sat around the table, she shared something that John would never forget. "You know," she said, "it wasn't just the puppy that helped Danny. It was seeing that someone cared enough to take the time, to stop, and to help. That lesson about kindness, about looking out for others, will stay with him forever." John realized then that the impact of kindness isn't always measured in grand gestures. Sometimes, it's the simple, quiet moments that shape lives in ways we can't even imagine. The puppy, now named Lucky, became a symbol of hope for the whole family. Danny would often tell his friends at school, "You never know how far kindness can go. One person's small act can change everything." And it was true. From that chilly morning on Maple Street to the warmth of a family home, a single act of compassion had created ripples far beyond what John could have expected. John often thought back to that morning, remembering the puppy's hesitant eyes and the soft, scared whimpers. If he had just ignored them, walked past, or assumed someone else would help, none of this would have happened. He realized that kindness isn't just about helping someone in the moment, it's about opening your heart to the possibilities that come from caring, from noticing, from acting when others might not. In the weeks that followed, John shared his story on social media, not for attention or praise, but because he wanted others to understand the power of a small, heartfelt action. People commented, shared their own experiences, and some even reconnected with lost pets or reached out to neighbors in need. The story of Lucky and Danny became a quiet inspiration in their community, a reminder that we are all capable of making a difference in ways we might never anticipate. As for John, he didn't see himself as a hero. He simply saw a scared puppy, and he chose to act. And sometimes, that's all it takes. A little kindness, a little courage, and a willingness to reach out can create moments that change lives. It's a lesson he would carry with him forever, and one he hoped others would too. So, the next time you see someone, or even an animal, in need, remember John and Lucky. Remember Danny's tears turning into laughter, the warmth of a home reunited, and the simple truth that every small act of kindness carries the power to ripple far beyond your imagination. It's not always easy, and it's not always convenient, but it's always worth it, because sometimes, the person or puppy you help might be the one who needs you most. And sometimes, the act of kindness you offer can create a bond, a friendship, or a moment of joy that lasts a lifetime. Let's all take a page from John's story. Open your eyes to the world around you, notice the little needs, and don't hesitate to act. Whether it's helping a lost puppy, offering a smile to a stranger, or simply listening to someone in pain, kindness has a way of returning to you in ways you never expect. In the end, it's the small, quiet acts that make the biggest difference. And the world, one little paw at a time, is a better place because of them.